Folks, welcome back to So Bad It's Good, presented by Betches Media. Listen, if you've been listening to the show, you know there is a show that I absolutely love, and we need to fully support this show. We need to watch it. We need to DVR it. It is in its third season, and we're only 4 episodes in, so you can catch up very easily over there on Peacock. It airs Thursday nights right after Southern Charm. Of course, I'm talking about Southern Hospitality. This show gets better and better each season. Now, today, it is very exciting. We have 2 of the cast members. We have an OG with us from the very first season, and then we have a newbie that is making waves in Charleston and obviously at Levis Republic. We have Michols, Peña, and Maddie, Reese. Maddie, welcome to the show, and Michols, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Maddie, I met you at Kathy Hilton's holiday party, and Michols, I hung out with you a little bit in Charleston when I was there for a wedding, and I still can't believe how young you are and that you are actually the manager at Republic. How did that happen?
So I was working at a few different bars in Charleston, and I was just looking for change after a while, and I came into Republic. I already knew Maddie from like mutual friends, and I literally put her up against the wall, and I was like, I need a job, get me a job. And yeah, a week later, Leva hired me.
It's just that easy? You just have to push Maddie against a wall?
No, he definitely had the experience and the network. He definitely had the experience.
I did.
Maddie, you are OG, and I guess what has the experience been? You know, 3 seasons in, what is it like to slowly become a reality star and to watch your show grow, where I think more people are discovering it this season now more than ever? Is that exciting, scary, a mix of both?
Yeah, it's really exciting. I feel like so many new people are discovering our show this year, and it seems to be being talked about a lot. So we love to see that, and that, you know, our hard work has been paid off.
Yeah. There was a development that started at the beginning of the season that I think maybe we suspected but didn't, you know, we finally got it confirmed, is that you are dating Joe Bradley.
Yes.
How is that going?
It's going great. I feel like it was a match made in heaven, in the sense of like we work together really well, and we make a great partnership as well.
Yeah, I saw you guys at that Kathy Hilton, and you guys were very cute together, and he seems like he is so in support of you. And I do want to point out, you have like a DJ residency at Tao, and we've watched your kind of DJ career flourish. Is that like taking off in the way that you always kind of dreamed it would?
Yes, it's definitely been patience and hard work, but I have been traveling a lot in the past year and have a lot of things lined up, like residencies, like you said, and I'm excited for this year and the shows that are coming this year, and the shows last year were just core memories.
Let's get into a little bit of the muck. Is that there is Emmy this season is off the hook. I know you guys are both good friends with Emmy, but this Emmy is a reality star. She's had 2 crying mascara scenes this season where she is sobbing because of her relationship with Will. How would you describe Emmy to the audience that has not watched Southern Hospitality yet?
Ooh. Yeah. I cry a lot too, but my mascara does not run. And
how does that? I mean, is that planned out? Like it's like, right down her face.
Like that's how you know, like homegirl is maybe not doing so well if you're crying that hard that the mascara is running down your face. But I definitely feel like, you know, it's things at home that are being brought kind of outside that we're starting to pick up on between her relationship with Will, and we're kind of wondering if maybe that has a reason why, you know, she's acting so explosive.
Well, in this week's episode, Michols, you actually talked to her. You know, you're one of her best friends, and you were designated to have to tell her that Will might have been talking or was talking trash at Republic about her. And she said, hey, he already told me about it. It's all good. And then there's like this kind of edit there. She says, nobody has checked in with me. Nobody has asked the right questions. And then we see that you guys have all checked in with her and asked the right questions. Michols, I mean, did Will really come into Republic and like talk smack about it? Like, who in their right mind would do that knowing that it would get back to Emmy?
I mean, I think that, I mean, I'm not going to make excuses for him, but I think that he was just trying to come to me as a person or like place of comfort, because he knows how great of friends Emmy and I are. So I think that he was just trying to like, find somebody he can rant to that understands his relationship or understands the place he's in, and maybe try to like, I don't know, maybe find guidance or just needed a listening ear. But I don't know. Maddie was like sitting right next to me too.
Yeah, I feel like he was trying to put fillers out there that like he might want to break up with her.
I mean, yeah, with the comments he was making, that's kind of the vibe that we were getting.
Yeah, like I feel like he was putting those types of comments out there just to like put it out there, like, hey, like, I'm not feeling the vibes. We might be breaking up, like.
It seems like she's putting all of her eggs in the Will basket. Like she's going hard in the paint for their relationship. Are you ever surprised watching those scenes back when it's just them, how it's different than what you see in the scenes with either of them?
Totally. I feel like there's a part of it that even though I kind of suspected that maybe Emmy put all her eggs in that basket, but maybe Will hasn't, I totally suspected that. But to watch on TV, like the cringy moments where Will maybe those her back or
those make me feel really bad.
Yeah, it just makes it like it just confirms it even that much more for us that we're concerned or maybe thought that was going on in the first place.
Yeah, no, this is why I think this show works, though, is that you see all of these kind of real life situations. That's why I kind of consider you like OG Vanderpump Rules vibes. And that's like a huge compliment is that it really does feel like your life. And I mean that complimentary. And speaking to that, Michols, I love that, I love that you are an openly gay man. I love that TJ is on the show. I love that there are these storylines that kind of bring this to the forefront. Can you explain? So, what is the deal with you and TJ? Like, because we're in 4 episodes in, and at the lake house, are you telling me you guys, there was no cuddling, there was no kiss there at night? You guys, because you guys slept in the same bedroom.
There was no kissing. There was no cuddling. TJ's in the friend zone.
But at one point, he potentially wouldn't have been in the friend zone, correct?
Yeah. I think it's just safe to say that TJ didn't play his cards right. And, yeah.
Okay, I got you. What is the gay scene like in Charleston? Because when I was there, TJ said, "Well, it's not that much of a gay. We don't really have that much of a gay scene." Would you agree, or do you think it's flourishing?
we have a gay bar that's maybe a third of the size of Republic, maybe a fourth.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's so tiny. It's like a little dungeon. I mean, we're in a drought. There's no gay people here. Like, that's the best way to put it. Even when I go to school, I'm on campus. The gays, if they go there, they're in hiding. I don't know, but nobody's here.
Yeah, I do feel like there are a lot of gays though here. They just have all known each other, and like it makes it hard for them to be friends and like.
It's like a pool. I would say it's like a pool of gays, but everybody's really intertwined or like mixed and mingled, and it's like, oh, I don't really want to mess with you.
Yeah, or like you slept with my ex, so I don't know if I want to be your friend. Like,
I don't know if I want to get with you, or I don't know if I want to be your friend, or am I allowed to talk to you? Like, is this weird? Like, so, yeah.
Maddie, do you prefer calling? Do you prefer calling your boyfriend Bibles or Bottles?
Oh gosh. Right now, Bibles. Like
Joey Bibles.
Yeah, we're in like a dry January phase.
You guys are both doing dry January?
Bibles.
Wow.
I'm saying Joe is like.
Well, yeah, you obviously have been dry for a while.
I've been dry, but yeah, but Joe is in a dry January phase, so I'm kind of hoping for a Joey Bibles phase.
Mm-hmm.
I was seen enough of the Joey Bottles. 3 years of it now.
We're trying to pump the brakes.
Yeah, we're trying to pump the brakes. Yeah.
Well, now I've seen your boyfriend 2 times in person, and he cracks me up because he's a smooth talker. He's really funny. I think it's so interesting. And you started off as a friend with him. And what was that decision for you that you were like, I am actually willing to take this a step further? Because it was obvious that he had like deep feelings for you in season 2 and probably before. What was that? What was the linchpin that was like, you know what, I am going to try this?
I don't know. I feel like there was a lot of factors. I think personally, he would say something completely different than me. But for me, I feel like I was out of my relationship, and temporarily Joe went to go work at Lamar's, which is his sister property restaurant of ours. And I think in that moment, I kind of realized that I missed him. Like, I was used to at least seeing him at work on the weekends and stuff. So then we started like going on dates and like dating kind of.
What was your first date like with Joe? What was that? What was the first date? Did he go all out?
I mean, yeah, I feel like it was like we just went to dinner. Like, honestly, it kind of felt like a friendship, It kind of felt like we were just like going out, So it was definitely like a dinner, and then we went to drinks, and then something like that. But I feel like that's kind of how that started, was the reunion finished, and I felt like I was ready to move on from my relationship, and I felt like we were dating and stuff like that, and it kind of just proceeded from there. But I feel like, the heart grows fonder sometimes when there's distance. Like, I felt like there was a little bit of distance because we weren't working together anymore. And I miss him. So that's kind of how that started.
Which, by the way, in this week's episode, you guys are swimming over at Lake's Lake House, and he concusses himself. He gives himself... It always seems like it's an adventure with Joe Bradley, potentially. That's why I think he's a reality star. But he literally bops his head into the pool swimming underwater, and you have to kind of take care of him, which I thought was... I'm sure there's a lot of situations like that in your life. And I was curious, because you have been such a proponent of sobriety and what it's done for you. Has it ever been tough being with somebody that still does have the occasional drink or likes to cut loose a little bit?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I do struggle with it. But at the same time, I work in a nightclub, and I'm a DJ, and I'm around the alcohol all the time. So at the same time, like, I have my tools that I use to help me cope with it, whether it be like taking a moment or, calling someone or pulling someone aside when I do feel like, I'm feeling weakness when it comes to my sobriety. But honestly, with the Joe and his concussion, if anything, I was taking care of him because I felt really guilty. I was the one that was like,
you're the designated driver in the pool, Maddie. Come on, you gotta watch this stuff.
Yeah, I was the one that was like, we should race in the pool while he's just like hammered. So if anything, I felt really kind of guilty about it. So that's why I felt so emotional, is because I was like, oh, you're fine, you're fine. And then when he went to the doctor and they were like, you have a concussion, I was like, oh my God, I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah, she lost it.
Sorry, it's not funny, but it's a great episode, you guys. Michols, I wanted to tell you, since this is your first season, was there any trepidation about doing reality television, about opening up your life in this way? Because I think there is this amount of bravery that not a lot of people realize goes into it, and they might not even realize going into it what they have to share. What were those like? What was that process like for you to agree to do this show?
I think that for me, I don't know. I feel like it was a little difficult for me being in the friend group and kind of being like the person that everybody goes to when they have issues or like need to tell a secret or like there's drama going on. And it was never really about me and my problems. I feel like if anything, I only really ever told Maddie like the things that were going on in my life or like with my family. So when the episode did come out, I had a lot of our friend group reach out to me and be like, oh my God, I didn't know that about you. Like, I'm always here for you if you need something. And it was kind of nice, but in a way, it kind of reminded me like, oh, I don't know why I was so hesitant to be more transparent about my life and the things that I went through. I think going into the process, I was definitely very weary because I was never like openly gay to the public unless it was like my group of friends or if you knew me here in Charleston. Like in social media, I feel like my social media didn't really do a good job of like displaying that I'm an openly gay person. And I don't know. I feel like now, I guess, like being more in the public eye or like being on TV and like my family being able to see it, it's definitely a little bit different, I would say. Um, yeah, I think that's the best
No,
way
I
I
think
can put it.
that's why I think this is kind of important. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously, this is important to see because it's just like, yeah, we're all just people. Period. Like this
yeah.
isn't this is a non-issue. It is just
Mhm.
sexuality, and I think this show kind of handles it in this unique way, especially in 2025. That's why I think this is a kind of important show for people to catch up to. What was your What was your worst moment on the show? You would say thus far. You can even go back for you, Maddie. You can go back to the first season, but what has been your worst
Oh my
moment
God.
in your opinion?
I already know mine. I mean, I, I had, I feel like I had sex on TV and I thought everyone was doing it. And that's
Was
like
that
my biggest,
the RV
yeah,
episode?
that is my biggest regret because I thought everyone was doing it and I thought everyone was hooking up. And that's my biggest regret.
You thought everybody was doing it, so it was all right, and then you found out you were the only one.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Like I thought everyone was like, I mean, you're going on a vacation. Like, of course you're gonna like hook up with your partner at some
Yeah.
point. I just like didn't realize like people held off for a couple days.
Yeah.
And that was
And now that lives forever. That lives forever. That is.
yeah. And I feel like they always flash back to it, like I'm like this freak.
Yeah, what is that like to actually watch? Do you guys watch the edits back? Do you watch them back every week, or do you stay away from them?
No, but I'm like even season 3, like they flash that back, and
Yeah,
I'm
they
like,
did.
damn,
Okay,
this lives forever. Yeah.
Michols, what about you? You're a rookie, but do you have one?
I would probably say I have two. My coffee meltdown
Yeah, you were pissy.
and
Yeah.
crying on my birthday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was like the
So
first episode, right?
relatable.
Nobody could understand what I was saying, and watching it back, I couldn't even understand what I was saying. And I don't know. I think that if it happens next year, I mean, I'll probably cry on my birthday again, but I don't know.
That's what birthdays are for.
Yes.
We just happen to catch it on camera, which is good for us, the audience. Michols, I always think about you now as like what I call the reliable narrator in reality television, where you are kind of the voice of the viewer, where I can trust you. I feel like a lot of people or your entire cast kind of trust you. Would you agree with that? Because you don't seem problematic, or I mean, you were highly emotional on your birthday, but it was your birthday and you were drunk. Do
Yeah.
you view yourself that way? And Maddie, would you agree that he's a reliable narrator?
Yeah. I think Michaels is a reliable person, period. Like when he
Yeah.
says he's going to be somewhere, like he's going to be there and he's going to show up on time. And if he's not on time, he's going to communicate. So
Yeah.
I just think he's a reliable person, period. Now, I don't want to say that Michaels isn't like messy or like,
You'll have to
How does Michols get messy, Maddie?
You'll have to wait and
Michaels
see.
is definitely like he'll gossip or like exchange information knowing he's exchanging it to, or
I
like
take it back, Michols. You're not a
Yeah.
reliable narrator. I take it
But, like,
all back. Jeez.
at the lake house, like he was like, you know, like I'm not sleeping with you, Emmy. Like, you know what I mean? Like Michaels is still messy as shit. You know what I mean?
Well,
at the
he
same
needed a
time-
break from Maddie. She was like, she's been going through something. That's a lot of energy.
mean-
He wanted to have a good time.
Emmy, yes.
Yeah,
But, yes.
I will say I have my moments where I can be messy. I have my moments where I don't know.
But you
I would
are
say
overly reliable.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like this season I wasn't that messy.
Well, we'll see. I guess we'll see if you're telling the
Yeah.
truth or not.
We'll see. We'll have to circle back. We'll have to come back at the end of it.
I mean, we're so early in the season, but I was like, are we able to tease things to come? Like, I just feel like the Maddie Will thing is going to keep popping off. Obviously,
I mean-
Oh, sorry. I keep getting sorry, Matt. The Emmy Will thing keeps popping off. I feel like we're going to keep seeing that. What else can you tease for this season? And are we at war with any of the other castmates right now?
Ooh.
I'm like, I feel like there's a lot of twists and turns. I feel like, one narrative will wrap up and another one is kind of coming. And I feel like the next half of our season is a completely different narrative. So I'm excited for that switch up because I think it'll keep viewers interested. And I definitely don't think things get boring.
Yeah, I feel like every episode there's been a new storyline.
Yeah.
Like something just pops out of nowhere.
Yes. And we're about to go on our cast trip to Vegas, which I just know is epic because so much happened on this trip. So.
Yeah. Can I actually see your hands, Maddie? Can I see your hands? Could you? I want to see if there's any rings on there.
I'll for a second.
Are there any rings on these hands? I mean, listen, if you go by the trailer for the season, it looks like you and Joe Bradley potentially get married in Vegas. Now, I know we probably can't, confirm or deny, but I saw what I saw.
The ring's getting cleaned at the jewelers.
Yeah.
In this past week's episode, at the very end, we have the TJ Joe relationship where there has been all of this stuff brewing. Joe upset that TJ threw him under the bus about the Countess Luann situation. How awkward is that storyline for you, Maddie?
I mean, it's pretty uncomfortable, like watching, and obviously, though, it's from 3 years ago, so it's kind of something that as a group that I feel like we've all kind of dealt with. So if anything, it just kind of sucked reliving it like 3 years later. And I feel like, it's kind of between Joe and TJ, and I'll leave it to them, but I'm, double downing on my advice, to be friends with him. But ultimately, if I was Joe, I probably wouldn't trust TJ on a deep level ever again.
Wow, that's it's interesting. This is way before Scandal, but Tom Sandoval, I interviewed him once, and he said, reality television, you have to run, normal people, you kind of run away from situations that are hard conversations and hard things to deal with. But in reality TV, you have to run directly at them. And I think that's why a lot of the times there is like this bravery involved for all of you, because you have to deal with crap that in most of us, we would just run away from. And I think that's what makes your show so viewable. Michols, how did you view the TJ Joe Bradley situation thus far?
I would say it's pretty tricky. Just being like newer in the group and already knowing about the story, because I've already been around for this group for almost a year and a half now. So obviously I've heard both sides. I get both sides. I don't necessarily agree or pick a side. I think that Joe is like a brother to me. And like TJ is like a best friend to me now where we stand. So I don't know. That's like really their story to tell.
Yeah. Where is Gilly? Where's Gilly?
G Lily.
Where's Grace?
She's not working at Republic anymore, so I feel like that's why she's not around as much, but I definitely think that she comes along more in the second half of the season. Yeah. Like I said, a whole kind of another plot line comes into the picture. I feel like later on to the season, I feel like that will feature more Grace, and her and I have a song coming out, and I'm so excited for that. And to be working on music with Grace since she's not working at Republic, but I hope she can get back to working for the company as soon as possible, but ultimately, that's Levis' decision.
I was hoping that Grace in your song is going to be the new Good as Gold by Sheena Shea. Like this is, hopefully this is the bop that we play in clubs for the Bravo audience for the rest of time.
Hopefully. I feel like Grace definitely gives those vibes for sure.
As we start winding down here, you were just like, you're in Charleston right now, and you were showing me, Maddie, that it is snowing outside, and I saw the view and it was beautiful. What day is today? Is today? Yeah, look at this. It is like snowing there. I mean, that's
full-blown snowpocalypse.
It is Thursday in Los Angeles right now, and I was wondering, what does the rest of the day look like for you guys? What does the weekend look like because you are real people, you're not filming the reality show right now. What do your normal lives look like?
So like I have gigs this weekend, but normally, we work Thursday through Sunday, so it's kind of just like, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays are our day off. And then, tonight it's back to work. And that's kind of our regular schedule, even though the show stops, like we still have to work there and make sure that we're meeting our sales and everything like that. So I feel like this weekend, like we're both working.
Yeah.
You really, guys, I was in Charleston. The bar actually exists, and I would imagine a lot of people now are coming in.
It's not a movie set.
Yeah, like TJ, like he would text me, he's like, I'm here during the day working. And I was like, oh my God, you're really working there. This is wild, because there was a point in Vanderpump Rules where they weren't necessarily there all the time. But I love that you guys are like fully doing that. Do you prefer the cameras to be on or the cameras to be off? It's probably an obvious question.
I love the cameras.
You do. You do. What about you, Maddie?
I mean, sure, you love the cameras, but I feel like long term, your real life is, pretty great.
I think that for like the first 3 weeks, I love it. I'm having the best time. But after that, I'm like, okay, when is this going to be done? Like, I'm ready to sleep a full 8 hours and like get back to my normal routine.
Yeah.
Michols, as a manager, the scene with Emmy, could you provide any clarification in terms of the other cocktail waitresses thought that she was using store credit to purchase the outfits and then taking their money? And was that the story? Because it got really dramatic really quick, and I think that makes for the best reality television of something really simple and it gets blown way out of proportion.
So when it was brought to my attention, it was earlier that morning, but I never really said anything because, I'm at work. When I'm at work, I don't like to tap into the drama. That's not really my vibe. I'm there to manage everybody, do my job. I have to be on my P's and Q's. Like, I'm 22 years old. I'm still setting an example at the end of the day. So, Siobhan came up to me and she was just kind of like, hey, like the girls are really frustrated. We think that Emmy is profiting off of us. So she was like, Emmy's profiting off of us. Like, we don't think this
I feel like I work with the girls, and I feel like they came to that assumption because I feel like Emmy kept speaking about it.
Yeah.
Like, in a way that was almost like not very humble. Or I think the girls put 2 to 2 together and put this assumption together that she was either getting points or like money
or like credit or whatever the case was. Yeah,
the uniform. And I feel like the fight, like what you kind of don't see behind scenes, like it built up because Emmy kept flaunting and like kind of not being humble about the fact that like, she was having, brand deals. And like a lot of us, do have opportunities like that working in hospitality and stuff like that. But it's not necessarily like we're flaunting about it to people that necessarily,
So she kind of did it to herself in a sense, or raised the suspicion because she was talking so much about it.
Yes. And I feel like that's where Siobhan kind of put together, this accusation, but I think it was a bunch of things that were kind of building up. And I feel like Michols knows the end of the little things that were getting built up. But yeah, hearing from the girls, I think that's where, like, how that got there.
Yeah. And finally, I mean, since you're working tonight, the show is on. Do you play the show at Republic while you're working?
Yes, unfortunately.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
That's like Inception. You've got to be like losing your mind if that happens. And has it ever aired thus far where you've been working and then you're like livid about something in the show and you still have to work the rest of the night?
Well, you usually have seen it before, so it's not like an initial.
It's not like a surprise.
Yeah, it's like, like I have shown up, like I've had hard seasons or episodes, or whatever, and I've shown up to premieres or whatever it is with the group and stuff, and I've had to watch it and be like, oh my God, and like sit in a corner. But, it's like kind of the name of the game. And I feel like, as much as it's streaming at Republic and stuff, we're still working. So it's not like we have time to kind of sit there and sit in it, and we kind of get to watch it beforehand. So,
Maddie, what's the favorite song on your set list right now that really makes a club pop off?
Oh my goodness. That's a tough Ooh, I feel like right now there's this new remix of Messy that I'm loving, and I've been playing that a lot. The I'm too messy, you know that song?
Yeah, of course.
Too
Yeah.
fucking clean. Yeah, that's the song, yeah. Yeah, so I just did a remix to that, so that's been popping off. But yeah, I'm excited for the Grace and I song to come out soon, popping it. So
It's called
yeah.
Poppin' It. Okay, so you guys, the show is Southern Hospitality. How do we support you guys? I'm going to put your social links. Maddie, that's going to have your. We'll be able to find your dates if we want to go see you at Tao or any of your other DJ gigs, which we got to go support her. But overall, I want to support this show, you guys. We need a 4th season. They need to come back. This show is just start. I mean, like, this show has consistently gotten better, and I feel like we are at a zenith where this is prime reality television. You guys are stars. I believe in you. I think you are insanely talented doing this. Whatever this is, I love watching you guys on Thursdays. Is there anything else that we need to know or support you with in this upcoming year? Come on, my slide into Michael's DMs. Slide into Michael's DMs if you're a dude. Get in there.
Oh,
He's got a man.
Oh, right at the end. Okay. I hope to talk to you guys again at some point, but congratulations. Thank you for taking so much time with us today.
Thank you so much.
you.